Hey everybody, it's the Trout and welcome to another episode of the Trout Show. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I take you to Toronto, Canada, where I interview a great singer-songwriter. Her name is Suzi Kory. Now Suzi was on this channel last year to talk about her new album that she just released and all her things that she's doing with like a country music festival and all that. But this time I reached out to her because she's coming to Texas to perform at the Texas Sounds International Country Music Awards in October of this year. We talked about how she got chosen to come down here and what kind of music she's going to play, but she also talked about what she's been doing with her life. Whether she's been working on new festivals, whether she's writing, she's now writing a book, and now she's talking about doing more music and helping other people by producing and maybe managing other musicians. I love the story because the fact that Suzi's she's kind of a Renaissance lady. And she's been doing this for a while, but she didn't really start into the music career until in her 40s, which of course is unheard of. But now she's kind of found her way, and I can't wait to hear her at Texas Sounds International Country Music Awards in October. Before we get to that, of course, if you like this show, that's what I need. Thumbs up if you like the episode, and please subscribe. It is very, very much appreciated. So up next, Suzi Kory, a Renaissance musician from Toronto, Canada. That's next on The Trout Show. Tell me about how they found you. I know he just goes out and looks for people.
Yeah.
So
And
tell me how that all came about.
I think I manifested it. No, I'm serious. I believe in the power of manifestation, all that. I'm not going to get too spiritual on you, but I do believe in that. As you know, my other stories of how things happened, right? I
Right.
kind of see
Yep.
things when they happen. So I had my sights set on the US and particularly Texas. And, not to say anything negative about Tennessee, but I've been to Nashville a few times and I found that wasn't quite what I'm doing, what's happening there. And of course there's different kind of artists in Nashville itself and in Tennessee, but the style in Texas I find it's just so much. Well, first of all, Texas is so much bigger, and the kinds of country that's accepted is a wide range.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I always thought maybe Texas is my place without really having any reason why, except that I kind of have this feeling about it. And then I get contacted by Preston Taylor from Texas Sounds International Country Music Festival or Awards. And, they said, we found you online and we really like your music and we'd love to nominate you at these awards and possibly have you come and perform. And I was like, that's crazy because I've been looking at Texas. I've been a couple of times. I've been to Houston, I've been to Austin, and I loved it. So, I feel it wasn't by accident that this happened. It was kind of
I
meant.
always think sometimes there's, I don't know if it's coincidence or I think you have to try to do things, attempt to do things, or you never do anything. Things
Right.
happen when you do stuff.
Well, and
And
that's why I talk about this manifestation thing. And when you say that, people automatically go, oh, you just sit there and imagine things in your mind. It's like, but that's only a portion of it.
yeah,
The other portion is taking a step and doing something,
yep,
right?
yep.
So as you know, I do things and I try and do things outside of the scope that normally people, like if you live in Toronto, you're looking in the surrounding area here of what you can do. But I try and think even bigger than that. Like, what else can I do? Like going to Brazil, I performed there, or going to Los Angeles, which is
Or
where I
Japan.
performed. Yeah, or Japan, so, but it's like you got to think bigger and then do something about it. Go out there and try, because you never know. You just plant all these little seeds and then things come of it that you can't even imagine.
You know what it is, though, Susie? It's the fact that you take a risk. And
Yes, yeah,
and and I know from the people that have been on this show, and a lot of them, the ones that there's some just starting out, taking their, starting out their careers, and then other ones, and if you see the ones that have been successful, somewhere along the line they took that risk.
yeah,
They did something outside the box of comfort of them to do something and said, "Hey, I got to do something."
yeah,
And you do have to have talent. If that doesn't come into play, then you're not going anywhere.
yeah.
But I just think that's two things that if somebody has asked me, what do you see the commonality with everybody that you interview? They start at a young age okay? They're driven by their music prowess. It doesn't matter what you play. It's just in your soul that you can't get it out. Oh, I got another song. I got to play a song. And third, they take that risk to move their career somewhere. So you get, if I remember, 15 minutes to play. Isn't that what it is? 20?
20 minutes. Yeah.
And tell me, so how do you prepare for that? Because does he, and I don't remember him telling me this, you have to bring your own band members, or what is that? How do you do that? Do you play some, I guess you can play tracks.
Yeah. I don't know if you'd want to do tracks, but maybe he's giving that option. I can't recall.
Yeah, I don't know.
But of course, you can bring your own band. So if you are a band, of course, you're going to do that, right? But I'm a solo artist. I would have to pay everybody and pay their way there. So that gets a little costly. Lucky for us, he's also providing a house band.
That's right.
So months ago, I sent through my music. They'll learn that music. We might have a quick rehearsal. I'm not sure, but
you do. You did tell me you do have. Yeah.
So, but they're seasoned musicians. I did the same thing when the Love Revolution Festival, the country music festival that I created. I did it down in Tennessee, in Columbia, Tennessee. And that's what I had to do. I hired a house band, sent them the music. All the artists, I had them send me their music. Anybody who wanted to use the house band, sent it to the band. And it's incredible how they learn it. And we actually didn't have a rehearsal because the band couldn't get together. We just, the day of, we just performed the songs. We did
1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah, but they're so they work on charts and things like that. Here, I don't really use charts with musicians. I just send them music. They do it by ear, which is fine. But but with charts, it's pretty straightforward. And of course, they listen to the song, the original, and then, it went off without a hitch. There was no mistakes or anything like that, and that's pretty incredible when you've had no rehearsals.
So how many tunes are you going to do or try to do? I said.
Yeah, about 5 songs, maybe.
Oh, wow,
4.
you're going to plow through them, aren't you?
Maybe, like I said, 4 songs just to give, because I'm okay with either. It's not really about how many songs you're doing. For me, it's do them well. And, it would have been great to have proper rehearsals and kind of jam on things. And, it just changes the vibe of it. But of course, you have to do with what you can with the time that you have and the resources that you have. So, I still think it's going to be so much fun. I'm excited about it. I always love meeting new musicians, new artists. So the whole experience for me, this is incredible.
What else have you been doing with your music, though?
I write a lot. It's been kind of a quiet period for me because I think, there's times you're go, very active on social media, pushing something out. And then there's times you have to kind of stop, reevaluate, figure out what's next. And you can only do that if it's quiet. You have to create a quiet space. I'm excited because, I have things going on still. So I'm performing next week at a music expo here. Plus, in October, this big thing with the Texas Sounds International Country Music Festival, or awards, sorry. I keep saying festival.
Yeah, it's easier to say,
Right. Yeah. And in December, I'm going to LA for a music conference, but it's more to do with sync, which is something else. I'm starting to look more behind the scenes on things. So, you create this music, but what are you going to do with this music? It's not just about performing. And I'm okay with not being in the forefront. I love performing, but it's not like I only have my sights set on being famous. I love being behind the scenes, putting music for film and TV. And that's really been another focus of mine, or songwriting for other people, and just being known even as a respected songwriter, whether I'm performing those songs or whether I'm giving them to other people to perform. So that's kind of where I'm finding I kind of like that more. You're talking about the band, the younger girls that you'd spoken to that are touring, and you said, is this your dream? And they said, yeah. I don't know if that's my dream. I don't really want to be on the road going from, city to city and not even seeing anything. I would love to tour at some point, but it would be, I heard Miley Cyrus talking about it, and I thought that was very interesting. She said, if you notice, she hasn't had a tour in years.
No.
And she said, it's not my thing. I don't feel comfortable, and it's certainly not normal to be in front of, 50,000 people and you're one person on that stage. To her, it just doesn't feel good. She would rather do the thing that it's more, you have a connectivity with people, maybe smaller venues, picking and choosing a few shows to be a part of. She doesn't mind doing festivals. but she doesn't want to be that person lugging around on the road. And yeah, I know she'd probably have great accommodations and great travel, but still doesn't want to be that person. And I'm like, I totally get that, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be that person either. I'd love to do select shows, which is what I do now. You know, I pick and choose a few things to do because I certainly want to continue performing. I love that.
Yeah.
But, you know, being on a stringent tour that requires you to be every single day in a different city and doing 200 shows a year, certainly not my dream.
But I think your personality, though, is you're more of a managerial position, because, well, I mean, look, you have to have people. It's like a producer when you go in the studio.
Yeah.
They're not, why do people hire producers? Because they want somebody to tell them what to do. No, it's not that. It's just they see different things than the performer does. And what you just got through saying, I understand that. Because being an executive in a business and managing and all that stuff, it's always but everything has its downfall. There's things about it you don't like, but I can see you doing that, because I tell people all the time, you don't have to be famous. The checks are still checks. Get paid.
Well, and what I've realized in the few years that I've been doing this is that's the smart thing to do, because it buys you your freedom. You know what I mean? That you get to choose what and when and with who you want to work. So if you've got those checks coming in from passive income that you're not physically having to go out and grind every night,
Yep.
then you've got the time, the space to do even more and create even more and help other people. And the focus goes from being just on you. See, that's the one thing I found, that if you're pushing yourself as an artist, you're pushing your own agenda. And that's okay. But when that becomes your whole focus, it's very limited in the amount of joy it brings you. If you're helping other people, so that's why when I did the festival, that was probably the best thing I've ever done in my life. And the happiness that it brought me was more than I could ever explain, because now,
I understand that completely.
yeah, and I think that's how people have to kind of shift how they look at this industry. Is if you make it just about you, you're going to limit the amount of true joy and happiness that comes from it. This year was the first year I didn't do this festival. I've done it for 3 years. And this year I had other things I wanted to focus on. It was a very difficult decision, but in the same way, it was easy because I really asked myself, do I want to be here and there and everywhere and spread myself thin? And I don't. I'd
It's a
rather
lot
be.
of work putting those things on. I know.
Yeah.
It's a
And
lot
I
of
mean,
work.
it's so worth it for so many reasons, but you have to figure out, well, what's my priority right now? And I've got to focus. And if it means I have to hold off on that, I'm okay with that. But what I've done instead is support and sponsor other festivals of my friends. Another artist, Nicole Ray, she does Harmonia Fest, and it's an all-female country music festival. She's incredible. And the artists that she brings every year, I was part of it the first year. And so she did it. This is her 4th year going. And so I was a sponsor of her festival. And then there's Gussapalooza happening in a couple of weeks. Amazing 3-day fest. I know. I love it. I was a part of it last year.
Now, what is that? What kind of festival is that?
Well, what's cool about it is independent artists, 3-day festival. You can camp there, all these booths. It's very hippie-like, but there's every genre of music, every genre you can imagine, from soul to hip hop to country to rock, and I thought that's so great because it doesn't limit anything.
Yeah.
And you can go to this festival and see all these incredible artists that you've never seen before and discover new people. And, I believe in that, and I will support anybody who does that. So I thought, instead of, I didn't do my festival and the money I would have put into that, let me put into these other festivals. And now I feel like this is incredible because I'm a part of supporting something amazing that's happening. And I'm still a part of this, support system that perpetuates things like these incredible festivals that are happening.
Well, at the end of the day, what's your goal now? I mean, you've got a little bit of irons in all sorts of fires, so to speak, but what's the one thing you get up in the morning and go, oh, this is what I want to do?
I mean, so, when I told you that this is kind of my quiet time where I step back for a moment and to kind of analyze life and what is it that I want to do, I started writing a book, and that has always been in my mind. It keeps coming to me that write something, talk about your stories. And it's not about the stories like to be, just name dropping stars and famous people. It's explaining what happened when I started to realize what was possible in life and when I started to change things around for myself. And, I only started doing this in my 40s.
I know.
So, yeah. So, to start in your 40s is, first of all, unheard of. But then to have the things that happened to me happen, I want to be able to inspire others to do the same, because I talk to a lot of people, and, whether they're married with children and they think not life is over, but that whatever they dreamed of is kind of a lost memory. And, it's nice to think about, but we'll never do it. You can do it, and I think for me, that's my primary goal. And whatever that vehicle is, whether it's through music and performing and writing songs about that are inspiring. A lot of my songs intentionally are to inspire people, and they're uplifting. I don't want to write music that is a downer. And also speaking, I do motivational talks, and the motivational talks are about that. It's my life story. So I'm not preaching to people. I'm just sharing my own story, and hopefully people get inspired by that. And the next step for me would be that, writing a book, and kind of, for me, it gives me a chance to think about everything that's happened and understand everything and what it has meant, on a deeper level than just going, oh, I met Axl Rose. No, but there was a lot more. Why did I end up meeting him? What did that do for me? That's what instigated everything that happened now in my 40s, was that moment of meeting him. It brought back everything that I remembered when I was 14. I first saw him perform, and that I had this dream that I wanted to do. So here I am at 40 meeting him, and I realize, okay, there's a reason why, I was able to do that. Let me do this, follow this path, or at least try to, of what I had thought about when I was a kid. There's something there. So I believe that you don't have these dreams for nothing.
No.
And so when people daydream about things, those daydreams are for a reason. They come into your mind because it's something that's supposed to come into your existence. And it's something bigger than you trying to tell you, look, you can make this happen. That's why we're putting it in your mind to begin with.
Yeah.
It's like the first person who imagined a plane.
Yeah.
If you told someone, they'd be like, are you crazy? People flying in the air? Like, what are you, nuts? And I'm sure they are, but if that person hadn't had that dream and that thought, we'd never have planes. So
That's right.
yeah, it's the same thing on, with anything in life. It's like being a performer.
Yeah.
I've always said, when I see people being like, all nervous and everything, and I'm like, you shouldn't be nervous. What you should be is like, it's not about you. You are there to entertain, and it's about the audience. And, if you focus on yourself, how am I looking? How am I sounding? Of course you want to deliver a great job, but it's all about, what are you giving to people? You know what I mean? It's not are you looking cool up there on stage, It's just be honest, be genuine, and people will love it. I saw at the Guns N' Roses concert, the openers were the Pretenders.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Unbelievable. I've never seen Chrissie Hynde live, and she blew it out of the water. Like,
Chrissy's a great performer.
but she's so cool. She's like Slash. She doesn't run around.
She doesn't care. I mean,
No.
that's kind of that's the attitude that I always had this feeling that she just doesn't care.
But
I write songs, I do songs, and I like some of their tunes. Chrissy's in her 60s. I know that.
But she sounded amazing. She looked amazing. She was kind and nice, and, made little jokes and made people laugh and whatever. And just so appreciative to be. She kept saying, Guns N' Roses are awesome. I'm thankful to be on this tour. Just said a lot of nice words about them as well. And I think Axl, not at the Toronto show, but he's brought her up on stage to do a song or two with him. So it looks like they're having fun, and that's great.
Well, and for her, it brings a new group of people that never did know who the Pretenders are.
Yeah.
They didn't
Although
have any idea.
a lot of people were there for the opening. Usually people don't come for the opening act. It's half full. I have a video of it. There's like a lot of people there.
People want to see Chrissie Hynde.
Yeah. Yeah. I went at 6:00. The whole concert didn't end until 11:20 at night. I was there at 6:00 to see her, to make sure I didn't miss.
To bring a sack lunch. I appreciate your time again, kiddo. And
same here. And I'm going to see you in October.
When is that again? I forgot.
It's like the 18th to the 22nd.
Yeah, you probably will.
Yes, I will.
Go serve some food.
I promise you a big hug if you come, okay?
Oh, well, then I have to come.
Yes. Now you got it on tape, on record.
Have a great day. All right.
You too.
Talk to you.
Take care,
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
She's got a fire, hot flame burning on the inside, fueled by desire. Got caught, trapped in a landslide. Last chance left to fight, gonna make it count. Knock 'em down when they say you'll never make it now. Time to take it higher. 3, 2, 1, go. 'Cause she's an outlaw, reaching for the big stars, making up the rules now where she goes. She's a lone star, gonna take it far, gonna do it on her own on this lonely road. Dreams on the track, keep her rolling, knows just where she's going. She's an outlaw, reaching for the stars, gonna do it on her own down this lonely road. Nobody's fool. She's got control, making the right moves, keeping it real cool. Long shot, no way she gonna lose. Game on, keep it strong, 'cause she's made of steel. Blood and sweat, dry the tears, gotta keep it real. Set the world on fire. 3, 2, 1, go. 'Cause she's an outlaw, reaching for the big stars, making up the rules now where she goes. She's a lone star, gonna take it far, gonna do it on her own on this lonely road. Dreams on the track, keep her rolling, knows just where she's going. She's an outlaw, reaching for the stars, gonna do it on her own down this lonely road. Started up, burning up the ground. Wheels spinning fast, revving engine, tearing up the town. She'll reach the top at the speed of sound. 'Cause she's an outlaw, reaching for them big stars, making up the rules now where she goes. She's a lone star, gonna take it far, gonna do it on her own on this lonely road. Dreams on the track, keep her rolling, knows just where she's going. She's an outlaw, reaching for the stars, gonna do it on her own down this lonely road. Dreams on the track, keep her rolling, knows just where she's going. She's an outlaw, reaching for the stars, gonna do it on her own down this lonely